So Michael Yormark's brother, Brett Yormark, did you like how I did that? Your job as commissioner of a conference, and he is the commissioner, Brett is, of the Big 16. His job is to raise revenue. He came up with a brilliant idea. Why don't we sell naming rights to our conference? Wow. I love it. Why wouldn't you? What's the difference? People are trying to come up with names. We already have it named. I want them to call the Cumberland Packing Corp people in Brooklyn. I want them to approach the manufacturers of Sweet and Low, and I want their conference to be the Sweet and Low 16. Get it? That's Sweet 16 like basketball, and then low because it's bad. Sweet and Low 16. Anybody? Hello? Anybody out? Is anybody alive out there? Yormark trying to raise $30 to $50 million per year that can be distributed to these clubs who are looking to increase their distributions now that they've expanded, trying to figure out different sources of revenue. Why is anyone shocked that this would happen? And people are like up in arms over it. Do you actually care if it's the Sweet and Low 16? If you're a Buffalo, I think Deion Sanders is walking around right now and saying, no way, man. I am the Big 18 no matter what. You think Coca's not going to be a fan of the Mountaineers? Think he's going to switch to Pitt all of a sudden because it's got a corporate name? It's irresponsible not to sell the naming rights. If you've got an entity that somebody wants, you do it. You think that I'm a sellout, don't you? All of you are saying that. Well, the only people who are calling me a sellout are the people who have nothing to sell. Brett Yormark has way more to do, not just sell naming rights. I mean, he could go to anybody. I mean, it's so brilliant. Who wouldn't you go to name a conference? It's way better than a bowl game. Maybe he'll go to like Snoop Doggy Dogg and say, do you want to upgrade from your bowl game? Want to name a whole conference? Unfortunately, it's going to take way more cash. I don't think it'll be Loan Depot. And I'm pretty sure it won't be Crypto.com conference. But everything else, so you're saying there's a chance. And Yormark's not stopping there, nor should he. Also out yesterday about the Big 16, or we're going to refer to them, can we, as the Sweet and Low 16? We don't want to give free advertising to Sweet and Low. Although it's not our money. What do we care? We wouldn't do it on our show. We're not giving free advertising to anybody. Look at that. Label this water. You bet your bippy. The other thing that Yormark is working on, he wants to raise money by selling part of the conference to a private equity firm. We covered that on the sporting class. They're looking at selling maybe 15 to 20%, but ignore the numbers you read because you never know the percent. This is funny how people go. Yeah, we're looking to sell. Jeffrey Lurie's doing this with the Eagles. We're looking to sell a minority share. Jason Kelsey, no chance. Taylor Swift, maybe. Dedicate an entire leg of your tour, and you could get 0.01% of the Eagles. Don't go to A-Rod. He's busy. But when you're out raising money, you don't know exactly what the valuation is going to be. You don't know exactly what the percentage is that you're going to have to give to get the money you want. You negotiate and you get to a point where both sides are happy that we'll take $1 billion and we'll give 17%. Well, we really only had $750 million in mind. Fine, we're down to 8%. It's a back and forth as you sort of figure out. It's not like a stock where you can go on a website and you can see, well, the value of a share is blank. These entities where private equity firms invest are not necessarily publicly traded entities. The valuation is more difficult to surmise. So basically, all you're saying is it's a negotiation, and people hide behind due diligence, and they hide behind, oh, we're going to look at 3x revenue or 5 times EBITDA, and they'll just give you stuff that is really based on fantasy. They'll say it's based on industry comps. I'm not sure what the comp is of investing in a conference. That's why it's a true negotiation. If you go back and listen to the sporting class, my opinion hasn't changed. I can't remember that episode, of course, but the best thing about me being on all these shows, Coca, is that I have a point of view, is my point of view. Is it subject to change? It depends on what I say at that particular moment, but generally it doesn't. What is the downside for the conference? Now, these private equity venture capital firms want a return. It's being reported by my colleague Dennis Dodd of CBS Sports that it could be up to $1 billion. It could be up to 20%. But what it doesn't say is, because there's no way to know it till you see the agreement, is what is the plan? How do they get paid money on their investment? What revenue streams go to the firm? What are their rights of operation? And they're all going to say publicly, oh, we have nothing to do with it. Well, when you own 20% of a conference, you don't sit there passively. You don't go all Nelson Peltz either. You have provisions in there of where you can be active, where you can't be, what you have the right to have a say in, and what you don't. There is a long way to go. But Brett Yormark is definitely onto something.